Okay, so in this episode, let's look at some quarters. We'll start with the Standing Liberty, which ran from 1916 on up to 1930. The 1917 is one from that period where we really made gorgeous coins. But this one has some issues. One, it looks off. It has an off color. And then if you look at the bars, the horizontal bars on either side of the pedestal, are on the pedestal, you can see that we got some tool marks in them, some fine lines, and that would be tooling. The counterfeiter probably lost some detail in them. He went back just to kind of touch it up, make it look a little bit more believable, and in the process made it look a little too believable. And it's better than the mint ever made them. Here we have another overdate. Once again, like as we've seen earlier, you want all the metal to flow. You want everything to look like it happened at the same time. The digits, the 1, the 9, the other 1, and the 8. And the 7 should also flow into the coin like them. All the numbers should be the same height. And then you should make sure that the 7 fills part of the bottom of the 8. This one, frequently, they only do the top of the 7 and then the part where it goes into that first circle of the 8. They'll skip the one on the bottom frequently. And make sure they're in the right position. There's a number of diagnostics, but really looking at the date and knowing how the date should look is going to be your best one, because you do get wear. There is on most specimens at least, a small die chip that's visible on the pedestal above the line over the date to the left of the lowest star. It's there on most of the coins, but I always go straight to the date and try to make a determination on while we're looking at the digits. And you can always get a second opinion. Going in close, you can see how it blends. The top of that 7 blends in like the top of all the other digits. And the sides of the 8, are just like the sides of all the other digits. That 7 is part of that coin, and it didn't come later. And now we'll take a look at the Washington quarter. They were first minted in 1932, which is also the first year we're going to look at, on up through 1964, and 90% silver, and then after that clad to date. A very popular coin. And they are counterfeit. You can put together a complete set. It's not silver yet, but it's inevitable that they'll produce them in silver. You can put it together a complete set going up until 1964. I don't know if I've seen them since then. So looking at that coin, this one is one that has a catchy way of being remembered. Actually, this applies to both the 32D and the 32S. And basically, the rule is if the mint mark looks bad, it's good. If it looks good, it's bad. Okay? Which just doesn't make sense. But if you look at this mint mark, most of you probably they're thinking it looks bad. It looks added to the coin. It looks like it's got seams. It's a weird shape. Yeah, that's perfect right there. The opening of the D is often very shallow or even filled on some of your circulated specimens. It sometimes has a little bit of a blob-like appearance, but it also is a very distinct mint mark. It is punched. It's a heavy punch, so frequently it looks like it's sitting in a depression. But it does have the distinct serifs. It has a little bit of that weird edge to it, and it generally doesn't look very good. This one does have some strong lines of die polish through it. If the coin's been cleaned, you're not going to find those. Always go off the style. They do look like they're sitting in a little bit of a depression. Depending on how the light hits it, sometimes it looks like it's a hill inside a depression. The S mint mark is going to have the same issues. It's going to be a bold mint mark. It kind of rises up to a plateau with a flat, almost like a flat pyramid, almost the way it looks. The centers of the loops in the S are frequently almost completely filled, not unlike a little bit like the D is. This one also appears to sit in a bit of a depression. Maybe it's a heavy punch. which it works to our advantage. Because that hitting it the depression is a difficult way to produce it if you're going to add that mint mark. So we've got two mint marks. One on the left looks bad. It looks like it's got extra edging. It's a little bit filled, but it is a bold mint mark. And it's got and it is a circulated coin, so you're starting to see the mint mark center disappear a little bit. Whereas the one on the right looks great, but it's not. The D mint mark never looked like that. And this one's just a pancake added to the surface of the coin. So as that rule goes, if the mint mark looks bad, it's probably good. So we can take a look at this S mint mark now. That mint mark looks like it's been placed on the coin. Looks like maybe that's glue or solder all around the edge. No, that's the mint mark heavily punched into the coin. It's sitting in a little depression. The die polish runs right up to its sides, and you can see the die polish on the other side. It looks bad, but it's good. When they add the mint mark, it looks like a pancake sitting on top of a skillet. That should have given you a pretty good idea on the quarters. We don't have a lot of quarters that we see counterfeited, but they are out there, and they are hitting the semi-key dates and semi-key mint marks. But you should have a good feel, and certainly for the 32 D and S quarters. Okay, and in the next episode, we're going to take a look at commemoratives, the classic commemoratives, of which there is a sickening number of counterfeits.